Alright, so this question asks, what's the sum of all real numbers x such that this one quadratic, x squared minus 5x plus 5, raised to this other quadratic, x squared minus 7x plus 12, equals 1. So at first glance, this question might seem really scary. I mean, this isn't the type of thing you'd see in a typical algebra class. A lot of you probably haven't seen a question like this before. But for this type of question, you have to recognize that there's really not a lot of ways that we can raise a number to a power and get 1, right? There's only a few ways. So the first way would be if we were to raise 1 to anything. Let's just say we raise 1 to any number n, that's going to equal 1. Our second way is if we raise any number n to the 0th power, that's going to equal 1. And then our third way would be if we raised negative 1 to any even integer, right? That would also equal 1. So just thinking about it like this makes it a lot simpler. So let's check out that first case. If x squared minus 5x plus 5 equals 1, if the base equals 1, then the entire expression is going to equal 1, right? Regardless of what the exponent is. So we solve this quadratic, we get x squared minus 5x plus 4 equals 0. And then it tells us, and once we factor it, that means if x is equal to 1 or 4, then this entire base will be equal to 1, and therefore this equation will be true. So those are two values of x. Now, for our second case, if the exponent is equal to 0, then it doesn't matter what the base is, but the whole thing is equal to 1. So we can set x squared minus 7x plus 12 equals 0. Factoring this, we get x minus 3 and x minus 4 are our two factors. And so x equals 3 and 4 are two values of x that would satisfy that equation. But now for our third case. This one, remember, is if the base is equal to negative 1. But it only works when the exponent is even. Because negative 1 raised to an odd power is still going to be negative 1. It's only going to be equal to 1 when we're raising it to something even. So we're going to solve x squared minus 5x plus 5 is equal to negative 1. But whatever we get for our answers, we're going to plug that back into the exponent to make sure that it's even. So we get that x is equal to 3 or 2 is our two solutions, or two possible solutions. But now we're going to have to plug this back into the exponent, remember? So that's x squared minus 7x plus 12. And when we do that, for 2, we get 2 squared minus 7 times 2 plus 12. And without even adding these up, I know that it's going to be even because the first term is even, the second term is even, the third term is even. Adding or subtracting 3 even terms is going to result in an even answer. So that's even, so this works. Now what about x equals 3? So for this we would do 3 squared minus 7 times 3 plus 12. And again, without even adding this up, we know, well, this is odd. We have odd minus odd, which is equal to something even, plus even. So we know that this right here is also going to be even. So both of these numbers are going to make this entire expression even, which means that they both work for our solution. So the question is asking for the sum of all values of x. So those values would be x equals 1, and then 2, and then 3. And I know there's 2 3's, but it's still the same value of x, so we're only going to count it once, and then 4. These are all the values of x that we found, and the sum of this is going to be equal to 10. So that is the answer to this question.